For more on the voter registration weekend, we're joined by Elections Consulting Agency of Africa CEO Lulu White. Lulu, good evening to you. Thanks for your time tonight. So we're seeing the IEC basically saying it's relatively satisfied with the number of new registrations that have come on board. But when we look at this figure historically, Lulu, are we really seeing a real improvement in the number of people that are brought on board onto the voters' roll as new and first-time voters during these weekend drives?
Look, when you compare it to past history, this is definitely an improvement, and I think it is also mainly to the availability of the digital platform that the IEC has decided to use in this particular process. Because also when you look at the stats and the figures that you see, the age gap, the age group of the people that have actually registered to vote more or less are very young people, are between the ages of 25 to 45. So that is something that the IEC needs to applaud itself for, because it seems like in this particular campaign, they were able to actually get many young voters and first-time voters particularly to actually participate in these proceedings. But like I said, it could be that the biggest part of that came from the fact that there was a digital platform. People did not necessarily have to go to a voting station in order to be able to register to vote, as was previously.
If we're looking at a figure of about close on 14 million young people, Lulu, that are largely unregistered in this country and therefore not participating in the elections, 1 million as a target, it seems a bit small given the scope of people that we're dealing with.
Definitely. Look, if you have to look at it in general terms, one does get the impression that the number is not enough. But this is just my understanding, the very first voter registration weekend that the IEC has. The president has not yet proclaimed on the election, meaning that during the week or any other time until the proclamation of an election, anybody who still wants to go and register can actually go and register at any MEO office of the IEC. And also, if my understanding serves me correctly, there should be another targeted voter registration that's going to take place. So I think it's us as civic society, the media, that actually has to rally a lot more people to go out and register to vote. And like I said, there's a digital platform now. People do not necessarily have to go to an MEO office to be able to participate. So we're holding thumbs up for the IEC. We hope that with more initiatives of this nature, as they prepare for national and provincial elections, they should be able to get a lot more people going to register to vote.
Of course, there's also a lot of expectation that the IEC is placing on political parties to get people out to be registered to vote, because, the organization says, well, in as much as it's responsible for the civic organization part, political parties also have to ensure that their manifestos, what it is that they're committing to or promising people, is enough to get them out there to want to participate in the elections.
Definitely. This is not an IEC process alone, and I think it's very important that the IEC actually mentioned that, because often when people talk about elections, the first thing is that it's an IEC responsibility, therefore the IEC has to do it. But if you go on the IEC website, you'll find that there's a lot of voter registration information and documentation that political parties should be able to download and to check and to basically disseminate and share with their members, with members of the community. And frankly speaking, this is the best opportunity for political parties to actually launch their political campaigns. At this point, they should be the ones that are going to the field, going to the ground with their manifestos, talking to potential voters and undecided voters to say, look, as a political party, this is what we want to offer you, and this is our commitment and our promise to you. This is our manifesto. Please go out and register to vote. Political parties should actually be playing a much larger role than the IEC is playing in this voter registration process.
When we look at the numbers, Lulu, the number of young people in this country really make up the majority now, and they also are the ones that are not participating in the elections. Do you believe that the way in which messaging of the elections is being conducted, that it speaks to young people, that it is engaging young people meaningfully?
I believe that young people of South Africa are very intelligent people. I think one thing that we need to understand that they're tired of coin phrases. They're tired of, this is your hood, this is your neighborhood, you do something. They're tired of all of that. Young people of South Africa want to see real change. There's been a number of frustrations that young people of South Africa have faced: unemployment, lack of business opportunities, funding for school. There's a lot of challenges that young people actually need to see. And the only reason why you're not seeing them at the polls is because they are not convinced that any one political party that they can see right now is able to articulate their needs as frankly, as honestly as possible. And also they're not convinced that these political parties have their best interests at heart. And that is really the heart of the matter. Young people in South Africa want to see change, and they want that change to not be aesthetic. They want change that transforms and translates their lives entirely, not just change that they see 6 months before an election, and then after an election all of those opportunities are gone again. So in terms of speaking to young people, I think the IEC is doing the best that it can, but we need to also take stock of the fact that the young people of South Africa are not stupid. They're very intelligent, and they want honesty, they want accountability, and currently they do not feel that they are having that.
Elections Consulting Agency of Africa CEO Lulu White will leave it there for tonight.